Oh, thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Bonnie Rose. It's great to see you here today. Let's stand up and we'll sing together our first song, which is Morning Has Broken. Here we go. Morning has... And so allowing the words of Diane to move us into greater depth and power and presence, let us listen to the words of our sacred reading.
The Bag of Gold, a traditional story told by Rachel Remen. Shiva and Shakti, the divine couple in Hinduism, are in their heavenly abode watching over the earth. They are touched by the challenges of human life, the complexity of human reactions, and the ever-present place of suffering in the human experience. As they watch, Shakti spies a miserably poor man walking down a road. His clothes are shabby and his sandals are tied together with a rope. Her heart is wrung with compassion. Touched by his goodness and his struggle, Shakti turns to her divine husband and begs him to give this man some gold. Shiva looks at the man for a long moment. "My dearest wife," he says, "I cannot do that." Shakti is astounded. "Why? What do you mean, husband? You are the Lord of the universe. Why can't you do this simple thing?" "I cannot give this to him because he is not ready yet to receive it." Shakti becomes angry. "Do you mean to say that you cannot drop a bag of gold in his path?" "Surely I can," Shiva replies. "But that is quite another thing." "Please, husband," says Shakti. And so Shiva drops a bag of gold in the man's path. The man, meanwhile, walks along thinking to himself, "I wonder if I will find dinner tonight, or shall I go hungry again?" Turning a bend in the road, he sees something on the path in his way. "Aha," he says, "look there, a large rock. How fortunate that I have seen it. I might have torn these poor sandals of mine even further." And carefully stepping over the bag of gold, he goes on his way. It seems that life drops many bags of gold in our path. Rarely do they look like what they are.
Let us turn within and ponder that. And ponder what bags of gold in distressing disguises may be dropping into our lives or our world. And in this center, we anchor in that knowing, and we teach that everything is the life of love expressing itself, love becoming love always around us. That is another name for God. It is another name for spirit, for higher power, for holiness, for wholeness. It is another name for the I Am presence that lives and moves and has its perfect and perfecting being in each of us. And so together as we sing, I am remembering who I am, let us know the spiritual truth about every single detail of our lives. And let us hold this truth in sacred trust for every single person sitting in this sanctuary, and then reach that truth out beyond the walls of this center to bless all beings everywhere. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. In the I Am presence as the I Am presence. Let us infuse the rest of our service with that consciousness as we breathe in deeply, and then gently open our eyes in love and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is.
Sunlight falling warm around your head, bright light calling, time to rise from bed. After all that you've been through, your sweet dream is calling you. Wake up, rise up, you will see life is more than misery. It's all right now. Looks like you made it somehow, and it's all right now, now. Move on. You need not mention all the webs you've spun. No invention can undo what's done. Guilt can only weigh you down if you let it hang around. Wake up, rise up, breathe it in. You can start all over again. It's all right now. Looks like you made it somehow, and it's all right now, now. Give in to this epiphany. Let your soul sing a symphony. Sing against darker destinies and let it all go. Why not give yourself another chance to live and to love beyond your circumstance? Get up, stand up, and join the dance. Let it all go. Let it all go. Just let it go, 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 let it go. Just move on. It's all right now. Looks like you made it somehow. It's all right now, now. It's all right now. Looks like you made it somehow. It's all right now, now. Move on. Move on. Sunlight falling warm around your head. It's all right, it's all right, it's all right. Bright light calling, time to rise from bed. It's all right. It's all right now. It's all right now. Can you sing it with me? It's all right now. Oh yes, oh yes. It's all right. No matter what you're going through, remember, it's all right. No matter what they said about you, oh no, it's all right now. It's all right now. Encourage yourself, sing, it's all right now. It's all right now. Oh, it's all right now. It's all right now.
All right, so I'm going to start by telling a story. Many of you who are regular attendees here know that my husband and I have Vizsla dogs. It's a Hungarian pointer. They're very wild and active dogs. And our first Vizsla was named Stella, and we got her years ago. And one of our best friends, Debbie and Jeff attends the center, they had Stella's sister, whose name was Bella. Now, I say all of this to lead up to the fact that once a year, every year, in the summer, because both dogs were born in July, we would have a dog birthday party. Hello? Yes. Raise your hand if you've ever thrown a birthday party for a pet. Oh, so good. Okay, good. I feel like I'm in good company. Okay. So at this particular party, and we used to make it an extravaganza because we just were really, you know how, like your first child, you know, you really spoil them, right? Okay. So we were really, really into these dogs. And I was usually in charge of the games because I work in a church and I know about that kind of thing. So there were two games that we had. And the first game was called a kibble race. And the way that you do that, now dog lovers, you might want to do this at your dog's birthday party, so take notes, is you take a tiny piece of kibble and you put it between your knees, and it's a relay race, and you have to walk like this. And then there's a bowl here, and you drop the kibble in the bowl, and then you go back, and the next person goes, and then at the very end, the dog gets to eat the bowl of kibble, and whichever dog finishes the kibble first is complete. They win. The second race was a word scramble. You know, you've probably done that in the paper or something where they have a mix-up of letters, and you have to figure out what the word was. At this particular party, there were two little children. They were probably about 7. Their names were Claire and Alexandra, and they were friends of Stella and Bella. And and I was, as the person in charge of the games, I was explaining. We had just done the kibble race, and I was explaining the word game to them. And I sat the two girls down, and I said, okay, girls, that last race took all of your athletic abilities. But this next game is going to require intellect. And one of the girls, you know, their eyes were big as saucers. One of the girls goes, Bonnie, I have a question. And I said, what is it, my child? And she said, what's intellect? I love that moment. It was years ago, but I still hold on to it because I think it behooves us from time to time to ask ourselves the question, what is intellect? And are we giving intellect too much power in terms of defining the mystery that is known as spirit, God, love, absolute reality? I looked up intellect in the dictionary. I don't remember what I told the girls. I think I said, it's your brain, use your brain, girls. But intellect is reasoning, right? It's using the capacity of our ability to reason, and it's using our ability, developing the capacity to understand. It's funny how I'm stumbling over defining intellect. And you know, intellect is a beautiful thing. Intellect should not be thrown out. It's a wonderful thing, but it may be in itself inadequate for describing the mystery. Because I'm here to tell you that God is not reasonable by any stretch of the imagination. God is wild madness. God is a whirling dervish. God is whatever connects the moon to the ocean. Who thought that up, right? And God is not understandable either. It's difficult to understand God with the thinking mind. I have a quote from Richard Rohr, who's one of my favorite authors, who's a mystical Franciscan, and he wrote, "Our supposed logic has to break down before we can comprehend the nature of the universe and the bare beginnings of the nature of God." Paraphrasing physicist Niels Bohr he wrote, "God is not only stranger than we think, but stranger than we can think." Perhaps much of the weakness of many doctrines and dogmas is that we've tried to understand God with a logical or rational mind instead of through love, prayer, and participation itself. In the end, only lovers seem to know what's going on inside of God. To all others, God remains an impossible and distant secret, just like the galaxies. Are you a lover? Because if you are a lover through the power of participation and understanding and mystery and questioning and all of that and so much more, we can begin to apprehend, to hold in our hearts the mystery that is God and use it in our lives. Because not only is our intellect incredibly compelling in terms of defining what is, but it's also incredibly compelling in terms of defining what is going on in our lives. Anybody here has a problem? Isn't it true that in part we are using our intellect to try and solve the problem? We're really, and again, that's not a bad thing. Intellect is fine, but it is not enough in and of itself. Really, that famous quote by Einstein that we can't use the consciousness that created the problem to solve the problem. Any problem is a call for us to move beyond the bounds of intellect and move into that place of mystery and of participation to call forth the invisible good that abides in everything. So that's what we're doing here this morning. We are calling forth, we are choosing invisible good, because invisible good is everywhere. And that thing in your life that may seem insurmountable or annoying or difficult, or even that thing in the world that seems so awful right now, there is invisible good in that as well, because invisible good is God. It helps us to know the nature of God. Dr. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of this philosophy, said that there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it. Not to contradict Ernest Holmes, but I would, which I often do, by the way. But I would say, I would phrase it like this: there is an invisible good in the universe, and it uses us for greater good as we surrender to it. Part of a surrender to invisible good is to stop defining God with our minds, right? How many of us are still carrying a tiny little snippet of an old version of God that we made up when we were a child, or that somebody made up for us and imposed upon us? Oh, really? Okay, good. People are raising their hands. Okay, cool. But you know what I'm talking about, right? That cranky old grandpa who's lurching around heaven wearing an adult diaper and just like smiting people right and left, right? I'm still stuck on the adult diaper. It looks, well, never mind. But anyway, that kind of God is going to mess you up because you may not necessarily have that image, but you have that smitey attitude, right? That smitey attitude that is just going to mess with you when really God is all about enthusiasm, right? Enthusiasm means with God. And God is about enthusiasm and love and tenderness and saying, look, here, I have this opportunity for you. I have a gift for you. I have a bag of gold for you. If you would only realize it and choose it and accept it, the kingdom of heaven is yours right now. I've been reading a lot about the nature of God, and somebody said that God, she was actually talking about the I am presence within us, but let's stick to the bigger picture of God right now, the ocean that is God, said that God is like the weather. God is like the weather, in that the weather is this thing that we can't really touch. We can experience it, but we can't hold something in our hands called weather. But it is this energetic that influences everything, and that is all-encompassing of everything, that the rain falls on the just and the unjust. Somebody also said that God is like space, the spaciousness that is life. You know, do we realize that we are in an empty space right now? This is space. And it's sort of our space, but it's my space, but it's also your space. It's her space and her space and her space. It's this universal, omnipresent thing that is all over the planet, and it belongs to us, and at the same time, it doesn't belong to us. So God is like space. And I like to think of God as something like water. That's why I had Doreen go out and get a cup of water for me during I am remembering who I am or something. I can't remember where it was. Here's the little cup of water in these little tiny juice cups, which I hear everybody hates, by the way, that they're too small. They are biodegradable, however. But anyway, Doreen got me this little cup of water, and if it weren't for the cup, you wouldn't really be able to see the water, right? Perhaps Spirit made form so we can be a container for the water that is God. And check this out. Look at this. I don't think I can drink the whole thing, but let's say I could drink the whole thing. Gargle. Okay, never mind. I'm finished. Thank you very much. No. Okay. So the water is gone from our sight, but is the water gone? No. Does the water still exist? Yes. Yes. Just what I was about to say. The water does exist. And is the water changing form? Is the water giving life-giving fluid to my brain cells and allowing me to speak and allowing me to move? And is it doing the other stuff that water does, creating energy, right? And is the water eventually going to leave my body in some form or another? Some of it's leaving, oh no, I was going to say some of it's leaving my body right now, but I meant I meant through perspiration and that type of thing, okay. It's a theme for this Sunday, evidently. So think of God like water. It's invisible, but it's still doing its perfect work within me. And then it's going to go off someplace else and do its perfect work elsewhere. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, just like Bill said in the ugly duckling story, you know? So God is all of those things, and then what is our relationship with it? It's almost like it's so present, like the space in this room, when I said we don't even notice the space in this room, it's almost like it's so present that we don't even notice it. You know, Rupert Spira, another teacher that I admire, talks about how if life is like a movie screen and we are images being projected onto the screen, right? And he says that we live our life like we are images in search of the screen. Like, what if you were watching a movie and all of a sudden the characters in the movie were like, hey, where's the screen? Where's the screen? And they're on the screen. The screen is inescapable. And that's us too. God is inescapable, right? I was in a class the other night and it's like, God loves you and there's nothing you can do about it. Right? Right? God loves you. I love you, dude, with the motorcycle. Yeah, God loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's what it is in theory, and if we can bring that into our hearts and actually, you know, as Richard Rohr said, actually practice that in our lives, what would that be like? What if we could actually, in everything that happens, start to reveal the invisible good, start to reveal the gift, like the Shakti Shiva story that Hugh read? You know, that there's a big rock of something in our path, and what if it really is gold in disguise? Mother Teresa used to say Christ, or what we would call wholeness, in distressing disguises, right? There's so many ways to practice this, and many of them we teach here. There's getting prayer with a practitioner after the service who will change your thinking and change your heart. There's practicing meditation, which we do on Wednesday nights. There's all of the classes that we teach and all of the practices that we teach on Sunday services. Affirmation, forgiveness practice, that's a huge one. Gratitude practice, another huge one. Generous giving, kindness, all of those things. And you can do all of those things, but I think sometimes the most powerful practice is to just choose what works for you and to do it consistently. I'll share one that works for me that I've been doing consistently for quite a while now, and that is to acknowledge what is going on and to bless what is going on, to bless all of my feelings about what is going on, and to say, you know what, I believe that this is happening. I believe in you, but I believe in God more. Right? So if my finances are acting funky, I can say, wow, I believe that my finances are looking a little scarce here, but I believe in God more. If I'm facing a diagnosis, or if we're facing a diagnosis, we can say, wow, this is a little frightening. I'm a little intimidated by this, but I believe in God more. If we're struggling with a loved one, we can say that loved one is acting like a fill in the blank. And, and we can say, wow, I believe that this is having a negative impact on me, but I believe in God more. All of those things, anything that you can name, can you name it and claim it and know it as an aspect of truth, but not the entire truth? Can you name it and claim it and know it as something that will help you reveal a greater and deeper sense of the one life that is God, the one life that is love, that is seeking greater expression through you? When bad things happen, it is simply a call to go deeper. It is simply a call to go deeper and to live fully and freely and abundantly, and to move into that place where we start to see that everything is a gift and everything is love. This is the nature of being, and we can have it. There is a good for you, and you ought to have it. You get to have it simply through the transformation of your mind, simply through opening up to receive the gift in all things. Now, you may be asking yourself, what if it is something really bad? What if it's something either in my personal life or in the life of a loved one or in the life of the world that is just seems unthinkable? And we have had a lot of those of late. Talking about the shootings that happened a couple of weekends ago, the one in Dayton and El Paso. And yet, is there hidden good to be revealed in that? Perhaps the good of community, the good of reaching out. One of our congregants sent me something from Facebook that was a notice about a teacher in El Paso that was asking for letters to be sent to his elementary school students. And we do love mail here. When there's a tragedy, we will often send love mail to churches or synagogues or any place that has been the target of terrorism or hatred. And we say, things may be hard for you, but somebody in Ventura, California loves you. And what it is we have these postcards that we send out, and we actually have a letter this time. So in response to that, to this person sending me the Facebook notification, I asked three of our elementary school, two elementary school teachers and one program of a program director of a homeless, what is it? Homelessness, yeah. Mary Kerrigan, okay, let's just put it that way. Mary Kerrigan and Vicki and Dina. I know your name. And Ed was the one who sent me the Facebook thing. But anyway, they wrote letters to these students, and Mary and Dina wrote these beautiful postcards. You can choose either one. And then Vicki wrote a letter that so touches what I'm speaking about today, about looking for the invisible good in everything, that, Vicki, where are you? I'd love for you to come up and read that letter.
I would just first like to say that I first read Dina's letter and I said, okay, I can't say what she said. And I wonder if I'll have anything profound to say like Mary. And so I just know that collectively, whatever we shine from our hearts will hit the angles that need to be hit. I mean, there's people that need to hear a various amount of words of wisdom and encouragement. So I humbly read my letter. Dear families, students, and teachers of El Paso, you are in my heart and prayers, and no words can express how deeply sorry I am for your pain right now. You probably already know this, but just in case this helps, please hold close to you the people and things that help you feel love, goodness, trust, and safety. Be with the people and do the things that make you smile. Maybe there's a kitten, a puppy, a little brother or sister, or even some old folks in your family that you need to go hug. I know you don't need advice, so I'll just say a few more things that my heart wants you to hear. here goes. I pray that each of you honor the goodness and light in yourselves and others as you heal together as community. I pray that you see that every big or small act and word of kindness towards yourselves and others shines a healing light of hope for everyone in this world. Teachers of El Paso, I stand with you in pledging to nurture the imaginations and hearts of our students so that together these students create and cultivate peace. I stand with you in empowering all students to shine the beautiful lights of their hearts and share their gifts with each other, their community, and the world. I stand with you in guiding students to see the world as a wonder-filled place to explore and make new friends and see how much there is to love about the people and things of this world. So may hard work and good books and new discoveries fill your year with evidence that you are strong, life is good, and that your contribution matters. With love, Victoria Carter, second grade teacher.
Oh, Vicki, you didn't get me till the end. So beautiful. Thank you so much. So you see what she's doing. She's revealing hidden good in something that is so dark and so frightening and so scary, but she found a way to find hidden good and brought it forth to others. And who would think that a student, a second grade teacher or a second grade student or any student in El Paso, do they know that there's a wise heart and a bunch of wise hearts here that are reaching out to them and that are willing to love them? You know, we've got these letters for you. You can pick them up in the social hall near the map, and you can all you need to do is put a stamp on it and send it. Sign it, put a stamp on it, and send it. And then your love will ripple into the world. And really, that's what it takes. That's what it takes to change the world. So in your life, perhaps, as you are believing in God more, can you also have that inclination that perhaps somebody in a place far away is doing something that is influencing your life in a positive way? Right? A positive way, in a way that is going to enhance your life. Your life can change in an instant. And often, when your life changes in an instant, it is because there have been years and years of tiny little acts of kindness that are influencing the greater good for you and for all beings. Would you like to be a part of that? Oh, good. Yes. So get a letter after service and do the work of this teaching. Do the work of this teaching. Reveal the gifts and reveal the beauty that you are, and the world will be a better place for all of us. Let's do that now, and let us pray. Okay. All right, and so we turn within. And in this place of truth and knowing, let us trust that there truly is that one life, that life that is the life of love. It is God's life, it is my life, it is our life, it is the life of all beings everywhere. And so we rest in that awareness, we rest in that presence, knowing and trusting the peace and the power and the love and the kindness that is, that transcends all fear, all difficulty, all challenge, all adversity, that embraces it and that holds it lightly and gently, allowing it to be, but also allowing something greater to be. Today, we anchor in the greater yet to be. We anchor in the greater yet to be that is right now. We anchor in the invisible good that is always doing its work through us like water. We anchor in the invisible good that is like spaciousness that belongs to everybody. We anchor in the invisible good that is like weather, that is intangible yet so present. And we know this as our life, and we allow it to influence us in all of our decisions. We have faith. We have hope. We are abundance. We are peace. We are power. We are love. We are kindness. We are greatness. We are magnificence. We are all of that and so much more. We are whatever we are conscious of being, so let us turn our consciousness to the higher and finer things of life, the things that bless our lives and bless the lives of everyone. We do this work for everyone, not just for ourselves, but as we lift each other up, we lift the entire planet. And so I'm so grateful for this. So grateful for this teaching, so grateful for this faith, so grateful for all teachings everywhere. I bless all paths to God. Churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, ashrams, fundamentalists, atheists, agnostics, all of them, all those I haven't named, trusting and knowing that in some way, everyone and everything is a blessing. With a heart that is filled with blessedness, I say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. And I release these words into the divine mystery. And together we say, and so it is. I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
I love coming here. This is the beautiful edifice, beautiful faces, beautiful spirit, and beautiful cats. These cats, no, they can play. I mean, it's just easy. It's just easy. It's really beautiful. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, you're the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. I know sometimes it's hard for you to clearly see just how you're gonna keep it together. Your obligations and responsibilities, how you gonna meet them ends, how you gonna make it one more time. But now let's hear the truth of it. You are much, much more than this. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. I know sometimes it's hard to hold your head up high and show the world you've got it together. You think of things that make you want to run and hide. Who would love you if they knew? Who could you trust to understand? But now let's hear the truth of it. You are loved much more than this. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. You're not the things you have done. You're not the words that you've said, or the heartache that you're going through. Oh, 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 you are the bright of the sun. You are the glow of the moon. And in your presence, the things that seem dark fade away, fade away, 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 away. Oh, haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. Oh, haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Or haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Yeah.